God, this church museum actually has bathrooms. There's actually bathrooms here. It's been so hard to find them here.
In this episode, not only will we finally find a bathroom in a combo church museum, but we will also explore Riga's famous architecture and how the city's history of occupation, liberation, and rebuilding has shaped it into the thriving metropolis it is today.
I'm on my way to go trying to find Riga Square, which I think I'm coming up on right now. It says it was constructed after World War II as kind of like rebuilding. I'm going to assume that has to do with the fact that Riga was occupied by the Nazis. So, just an interesting part of the architecture of the city to see history doing stuff like this. I am 99% sure this is Riga Square. I will pull up the map and double check that. Okay, we've confirmed this is Riga Square. It was created after the Second World War. The meeting point of 8 streets, an interesting complex of 18th century residential buildings on Mirasturu Street, was constructed next to the former defensive wall of Riga, which lost its importance in the 17th century. But yeah, what a peaceful, lovely little spot. Even with the scooters. And then you have the New Yorker, which cracks me up. You do see like random bits of American culture. I did just come from McDonald's. Okay, I got a bit of souvenir shopping done. I got my mom a little handmade Latvian bell. Seems like the best and easiest thing to get here. They have tons of different little bells in the gift shops. But yeah, look how gorgeous the gardens are here. Just everything's blooming. This fall, it's pretty. I love it.
A brief history of Latvia since the 20th century will help us understand some of the architecture seen while wandering the streets. During World War I, Latvia and other Baltic states were signed to Germany in the Brest-Litovsk Treaty. I have no idea if I said that right. Once Germany lost World War I, however, they had to renounce the treaty, giving Latvia the chance to claim independence once again. This brought more Western European influences into the city. However, during World War II, Riga was occupied by the Soviet Union in 1940 and then by Nazi Germany from 1941 to 1944. These occupations are a dark time in Riga's history and led to the destruction of historic monuments like the House of the Blackheads, which we will see later in this episode. After the siege of Leningrad, however, the Soviets once again entered Riga, starting the Soviet era in Latvia, which would not end until the restoration of Latvian independence in 1991. The architecture of Riga shows the tumultuous path this country was taken down in the 20th century. From rebuilt landmarks to new construction, Riga's history shines through every cobblestone.
Okay, finally going in. The Museum of the History of Riga and Navigation. Oh wow. This is gorgeous.
The Museum of the History of Riga and Navigation is a must-do when you come to Riga. It's around €5 to enter, and the history here is very specific to Riga. The museum has a quiet and studious vibe when it's not hosting classical concerts. Most of the time I was not comfortable vlogging, but I can provide some handy voiceover here.
This is so pretty in here. It's very quiet, but so pretty.
The navigation section is fascinating to go through and has extensive signage explaining the progression of naval navigation technology through the centuries. This is part of what made Riga a trade center from the medieval times and on. If you like model ships, you might scream with joy in this insanely quiet part of this museum, haha. Going up one level, the History of Riga section of the museum starts. Cue the music box randomly playing in the quietest museum I have ever experienced. This section is full of artifacts from the different eras of Riga. From an independent Riga to Nazi and Soviet occupation, these pieces of history illustrate the complicated past of this wonderful city. Pro tip, be sure to find one of the guidebooks for this section of the museum. The pieces are numbered and there are translations into many languages. Continuing through the halls and finally finding where that music box actually is, you enter the concert hall and admire the intricate designs. If you have the chance when visiting Riga, buy tickets for a concert here. It's one of those rooms you step into and just instantly know the acoustics make music sound like magic here.
It is absolutely gorgeous in this navigation museum. It's very quiet, so I don't want to vlog too much. I'll do voiceover later, but it's just stunning. Look at the chandelier and all the marble. It's so pretty. You've got to come to this.
As you continue through the many levels of this museum, you will learn so much about Riga's rich history. Additionally, you can find clean and nice bathrooms if you go down to the basement.
Thank God this church museum actually has bathrooms. There's actually bathrooms here. It's been so hard to find them here.
Just ask the workers and they will show you the way. Definitely take advantage of this haha. Bathrooms are not easy to find in Old Town.
So it's now pouring rain. I have no jacket. I knew it was supposed to happen in the afternoon, and I lost track of time. I was thinking I'd be back at the hotel by now. Yeah, that didn't happen. It's not like absolutely spitting rain. It was last night, so I know it gets bad if it keeps going. The rain is heavy here. I want to go see the House of Blackheads though, so I'm going to figure out where exactly I need to go for that. Okay, this is what I mean by like absolute death trap wheelchair ramps. Could you imagine actually trying to go down this? It is so steep, it would just flip you out of it. So, again, warning, not a very accessible city. It's also like they don't look like they're lined up, so I think it would just wreck anyone who tried to actually use it. Okay, finally made it to the House of the Blackheads. That was an adventure. It's so hard to navigate some of the winding roads, but pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Okay, this is cool. We're going into the historic cellar. They did say that this was destroyed in World War II. I don't know if the cellar's original or if it was just the building that was destroyed and rebuilt. Okay, so this is the only original part of the building. The rest of the building was destroyed during the Second World War, but this is the original part. I don't think I've ever seen so many suits of armor in my life, but it is like visiting actual medieval times when you come visit Riga. It's amazing. I actually really have been fascinated by this stuff. This is cool. They have a little spot where you can just lay there and watch, I guess, like Latvian opera dancing and stuff. It's so cool.
Now for a bit of history on the House of the Blackheads. Originally, this house was built in 1334 as a warehouse and meeting place for merchants. From the mid-15th century, the building was used by the Brotherhood of the Blackheads, a guild for unmarried merchants and ship owners in Riga. Apparently, it was one of the first places that a decorated Christmas tree was displayed in 1441. Someone fact-check that one, though. Unfortunately, the House of the Blackheads was bombed during a World War II battle between the Soviets and the Germans in Riga. Destruction of the house devastated the locals in Riga. Luckily, from 1996 to 1999, the city of Riga and donors helped rebuild this icon. After a day of exploring Old Town, I was ready to head back to my hotel and rest up to visit the largest market in Europe for dinner. There was just one problem.
Yay, time to cross this bridge in the spitting rain and wind. Gonna be fun. Gonna be so nice when I get back to the hotel. I'm gonna get soaked. One of these cars is gonna whip past me and give me a freaking monsoon.
I got back to the hotel and was utterly soaked. I did, however, decide to take a nice hot bath to recharge before heading out to the largest market in Europe. Like and subscribe to see how that adventure goes. I hear there's soup in a bread cup there.